This is terror unseen, where fear has a new face, and every tale pulls you deeper into the darkness. Beneath the draping Spanish moss and the deceptively calm facade of a southern antebellum home lies a history so dark, it seeps from the very foundations. This is the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, a place often called one of America's most haunted homes. But to call it merely haunted is an understatement. The Myrtles is a place where the veil between the living and the dead is impossibly thin, where echoes of tragedy and violence refuse to fade. The story begins in 1796, when General David Bradford, a fugitive from the Whiskey Rebellion, built a humble cottage on this land. But even before the first brick was laid, the ground itself was steeped in ancient history, reputedly serving as a Tunica Indian burial ground. Was the land already cursed, disturbed from its sacred rest? Some say the unsettling energy of the Myrtles was present from the very start, a silent witness to the horrors that would unfold. The plantation passed to Bradford's daughter, Sarah, and her husband, Clark Woodruff. It was under their ownership that the house expanded, and the plantation's darkest chapter began. The Woodruff family, along with their children, lived here, attended by numerous enslaved people. It is within the lives of these individuals, both free and enslaved, that the most infamous ghost story of the Myrtles takes root. The story of Chloe. Chloe was, according to legend, an enslaved woman owned by the Woodruffs. One version of the tale claims she was forced into a relationship with Clark Woodruff, fearing she was falling out of favor and would be sent to the fields. A much harsher life. Chloe began to eavesdrop on the family's private conversations. One day, she was caught. As punishment, Clark Woodruff, in a fit of rage, had one of her ears cut off. From then on, she wore a green turban to hide the scar. Desperate to win back her master's trust, Chloe devised a plan. She would bake a birthday cake for the eldest daughter, but she would lace it with a small amount of oleander leaves, just enough to make the children sick. Her intention, the story goes, was to nurse them back to health, proving her indispensability. But her plan went horribly, tragically wrong. The poison was far more potent than she anticipated. Sarah Woodruff and 2 of her 3 children ate the cake and died in agony. Panic and terror gripped the plantation. The other enslaved people, fearing the wrath of their master and suspecting Chloe was responsible, took matters into their own hands. They reportedly dragged Chloe from her quarters and hanged her from a nearby tree. Her body was then weighed down with rocks and thrown into the Mississippi River. Since that day, a figure of a woman wearing a green turban has been seen countless times, wandering the property, her spirit forever bound to the place of her torment and death. She is seen peering from behind doorways, appearing in the middle of the night at the foot of guests' beds, and her sorrowful face has even been captured in photographs. But Chloe is far from the only spirit said to haunt the Myrtles. The plantation's history is a long list of violence and untimely deaths. One of the most documented incidents is the murder of William Winter. William was an attorney who purchased the plantation in 1865 after the Civil War. He lived there until 1871. One evening, a stranger rode up to the house and called him out onto the front porch. As William stepped outside, the stranger shot him, mortally wounded, William staggered back inside the house, crying out for his wife, Sarah, who was upstairs. He managed to climb the grand staircase, but collapsed and died on the 17th step. To this day, visitors and staff report hearing the phantom footsteps of William Winter, slowly and laboriously climbing that staircase, a ghostly reenactment of his final, desperate moments. Some have even heard a disembodied voice calling out for Sarah before the footsteps cease on that fateful 17th step. His tragic end is permanently imprinted on the very air of the home. The children poisoned by Chloe are also said to remain. The sounds of children playing, laughing, and sometimes crying are often heard in the empty rooms and hallways of the Myrtles. They are most frequently reported in what was the children's nursery. Guests staying in the home have reported being woken by the sensation of a small child jumping on their bed, only to find the room completely empty. Ghostly handprints have appeared on freshly cleaned mirrors, and the distinct sound of marbles rolling across the wooden floors upstairs has startled many a visitor in the dead of night. And the paranormal activity doesn't stop there. A large mirror hanging in the entryway is a focal point of supernatural phenomena. Legend says that mirrors must be covered after a death to prevent the spirits of the deceased from becoming trapped inside. The mirror at the Myrtles, however, was overlooked after the poisoning of Sarah Woodruff and her children. Over the years, guests have stared into its depths, only to see more than their own reflection. Distorted faces and shadowy figures are often seen moving within the glass. Handprints, stubbornly reappearing despite constant cleaning, are said to belong to the trapped spirits, forever reaching out from their reflective prison. Even the grounds of the Myrtles are not immune to the haunting. Figures have been seen wandering near the old pond. A young girl in an antebellum dress has been spotted playing near the gazebo, only to vanish into thin air. Some believe she is the ghost of a girl who drowned in the 19th century. Another restless soul is that of a Confederate soldier, said to have died on the property, who is seen patrolling the perimeter, forever guarding a post he can never leave. The entire estate seems to be a canvas upon which countless tragic stories are endlessly replayed. Over the years, the Myrtles Plantation has been the subject of numerous paranormal investigations. Teams from television shows and independent ghost hunters have descended upon the property, armed with cameras, audio recorders, and all manner of sensory equipment. What they have captured is nothing short of chilling. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, have recorded disembodied voices whispering names, answering direct questions, and issuing warnings to get out. Thermal cameras have picked up cold spots and human-shaped figures in empty rooms. And then there are the photographs. Perhaps the most famous piece of evidence is a photograph taken by the plantation's owner in 1992, intending to capture an image for an insurance brochure. She inadvertently captured something else entirely. Standing between two of the main buildings is a clear yet translucent figure of what appears to be a woman with curly hair, dressed in the style of an enslaved person. Many believe this is the definitive photographic proof of Chloe's lingering spirit. Another photograph, taken by a tourist, allegedly shows the faint image of a young girl peering out from a window. a girl who wasn't there when the picture was taken. The Myrtles operates today as a bed and breakfast, bravely inviting guests to spend the night within its haunted walls. Reports from these overnight visitors continue to pour in, adding to the plantation's terrifying legacy. People speak of their beds shaking violently in the night, of their belongings being moved by unseen hands, and of seeing full-bodied apparitions standing in their rooms. The grand piano in the parlor is known to play by itself, its melancholic tunes drifting through the house late at night when all the living are sound asleep. Is the Myrtles Plantation truly a gateway to the other side? Is it the sheer weight of its tragic history, the injustice, the violence, the sorrow that holds these spirits captive? From the ancient burial ground it was built upon to the many documented deaths within its walls, every layer of its past contributes to its reputation. The beautiful, sprawling oak trees and charming architecture hide a deep and abiding darkness. It's a place that reminds us that some wounds are too deep to heal, and some voices are too powerful to be silenced by time. The spirits of the Myrtles have stories to tell, and they will continue to tell them. To anyone brave enough to listen in the shadows of one of America's most haunted homes.